And I was kind of thrown into the first lane, and I got up to move, and my leg bent in half, kind of Joe Theismann, if you ever seen that injury.
When the new guys come in, they're like, dude, don't fuck with that guy. He got hit by a car, dude. He's still kicking.
What was porn like back in like the 70s?
Porn?
I bet that keg was gone before you got there.
Oh, we stick handling in the motorhome, baby. Dad, you have 4 sons. Could you rank your children?
Right. You hit the big time and get that place in Miami, you're gonna work your way up to the top.
Welcome to the Real Oshow. I'm Zachary.
And I'm Joshua, and we're brothers chasing the curiosities of our life.
And on this show, we'll deep dive the most influential people, music, and topics going on in the world.
And today is our 100th episode. We interviewed our pops. Here's to 100 more.
I gotta stack out this gold. I tell you I'm on the road. About to get all this dough. Me and no fuck niggas know. I swear to God we the ghosts. This ain't the story they told. Man, if you know, then you know. I never had to tell my dogs and we on rough for breaks. They paper getters, they want money.
So, Dad, we've had you on the vlog multiple times, but I don't know if everybody knows your story, and I just want you to kind of open it up. So, obviously, you're a retired firefighter for Ypsilanti Township, but go into how many years did you do? Because I kind of tell people it's 25 years you worked there. I don't know how many years you did.
Yeah, did 25 years.
25 years. And then can you tell me the levels that you were at? So where did you start, and then where did you finish?
Well, started out, obviously, at a firefighter position. Was there for about 5 years, and then I moved into, at 5 years, you could test for lieutenant, moved to lieutenant. And which was basically you command on an interior firefighting. You're in command inside the building.
Command inside like the burning building.
Inside the burning building,
Got
you're
it.
kind of you have your incident command outside the building, and then you're kind of the eyes and
That's
ears
where I
inside.
would be. I'd like to be on the outside.
Yeah. Well, that's as you get older, and then about I don't know. I think I was about 10 to 12 years in, and then I moved to the rank of captain, which is the shift commander. So in some bigger fire departments, that would be like a battalion chief situation, and did that until I retired.
And then how many captains are at one place?
In our organization, there were 12 people on a shift, and 11 people on a shift. Excuse me. And there were one captain per day, which was you're like a shift commander. And
So there was
3
multiple
different shifts.
So there's multiple. So there's 3 different captains.
There's 3 different
Got it.
shifts. You work 24-hour shifts, and in order to fill all the days of the week, you need three different shifts.
What's the craziest fire you ever did, like you were at?
I guess there were several. The big commercial fires are more intense. House fires got pretty, you could do those. They were pretty routine for the most part, but you never know. You never knew what situation you were getting into. I guess the kind of the craziest house fire you got into, and it was a hoarding situation, and there were boxes
Disgusting.
and things from floor to ceiling, and there were 2-foot paths through the entire house, and the fire started in the basement.
Oh,
So to get through all that stuff and then get down into the basement to put it out, it was different. It was a very tough fire to put out because there was so much fire load. It was incredible.
Did you ever get nervous going into fires? Like when you were actually going into fires, were you ever like, "Fuck this"?
When you're doing it, you didn't get as nervous. When you just rely on your training. That's what you got to do.
Respect that.
You got to rely on your training and do your job.
Cops and firefighters, to me, it's just like they're just adrenaline. Just like, I fucking want to go in there and save something. Like, you know what I mean? That's how I just think
that's
of it.
really
Well,
what it
I
is.
think that's how it starts a lot.
Yeah.
But as you get, the
300
smarter
runs a
you
year,
get,
you're like, fuck no.
you don't run through the door. You kind of look and then pay attention to what you're doing, and then go in there smart instead of just trying to run in and get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, firefighters are always more loved than police officers when you save someone's house rather than fucking take someone's house.
That's absolutely the case. When we came, there's some pretty volatile situations, and we come in. We never were treated
so
poorly.
Before Zachary and I were born, you were hit by a drunk driver. Can you tell us about that story?
It was a flash ice storm. One of those.
Can you put a year on it?
1995.
It was 1995.
So would we have been bored, or was I already in the oven?
You were not.
So
Born,
Zachary
you
and I
were not-
wouldn't have been alive had
Ne-
this accident happened.
No.
Okay.
Wow.
So continue.
No wonder we're so great.
No. It was I believe it happened. It was like January of '95. Yeah. So you just one of those quick 20-minute ice storms. Got icy. We had about, I don't know, we probably went to 10 different fender benders on I-94 and interstate. And we were just sitting on one with no injuries and kind of standing by the Coyotes semi versus car, kind of standing by the semi, making sure everything was all right. And there was a guy that was coming on the entrance ramp, going too fast, and locked it up and went right through us like, bowling ball through bowling pins.
You weren't the only one who got hit then.
I was standing there with the truck driver, and both of us were injured. He was thrown 3 lanes into
oncoming traffic.
On traffic.
And nothing.
Did he die?
No, he did not die.
Wow.
He actually survived his injuries. Thank goodness no one ran over him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because it was busy. It was rush hour time.
That's the worst.
And I was kind of thrown into the first lane, and I got up to move, and my leg bent in half, kind of Joe Theismann, if you ever seen that injury.
Fuck yeah.
It was the same exact thing. It mid-shaft, my leg, and then I just kind of crawled off the road and laid there.
Were you just like in shock, kind of like didn't know what was going on, or?
I knew what was going on because I saw the car coming, and I actually would have been pinned between the truck and his car. I jumped.
Which would have been worse.
I jumped and actually went through his windshield. I had glass in my head.
Yeah.
And his bumper hit my leg, and other than that, my leg, I was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
if your car's coming, jump.
Get up. You don't want to get pinned between something.
Yeah,
that's
how
for sure.
You die.
Yeah,
sure.
you're better off getting up and hoping for the best.
And so, what was the recovery for that? Because you were out for like more than a year, right?
Yeah, I was off about 13 months.
Yeah. And during that time, were you ever like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore?
No, absolutely not. My thought was, can I get back to doing it again?
Interesting.
Absolutely.
What do you mean, bro? Once you do something like that in the fire, you're like a legend. They're like, I fucking got hit by a car. They're like, when the new guys come in, they're like, dude, don't fuck with that guy. He got hit by a car, dude. He's still kicking.
I just wanted to be able to go back and work and not be on the sidelines.
Yeah,
so.
no kidding.
So I worked hard to get back at it.
So they put like a metal rod, because I think you've told me they put like a metal rod through your leg, right?
Yeah.
You had that for how long?
Yeah, that was in for just about a year. Just about a year. And then, and they said it'd be in there forever. It would never come out. And it always bothered me. And after a year, I was like, let's get this thing out of there. And they did. And it was just instant. Felt great when it was out. And
interesting. I bet. Yeah, it's crazy how far surgery comes now. Like, I'm sure it's a completely different fucking, like, procedure to do that same injury. Like, maybe it is to take it out, but like even like both of us got shoulder surgery. You just got surgery again on like hernia. Everything is just microscopic, so it's like fucking the recovery is way less, and it's like a lot less intrusive on the body.
Oh, it's come a long way. A football injury, an ACL used to be the end of your career. Now it's 8-9 months, and they're back going.
Not even ACL. Look at the fucking Achilles tears.
Yeah,
the Achilles
amazing.
tears are what's the amazing about it.
Yeah, that was for sure career ender.
I even remember like getting the shoulder surgery. I remember because I almost didn't do it. Because even Lemos was like, you don't have to do it if you're like not gonna play baseball anymore. And I was like, no, I want to. Like my shoulder has never felt this good. Like after the surgery, like for 8 years, my shoulder like always like kind of bothered me. Couldn't sleep on my right side ever since the surgery. Like it's like brand new.
I don't know. Yeah. I still feel like my shoulder was really fucked, and I think that I may have fucked myself more because I didn't. We went to those guys. What
rehab?
What rehab place did we go to?
I couldn't.
I just want to shout them out.
It was like M Sport.
No, it was like 02 or 03 in Saline, Michigan, and I just want to say to those guys, what were their names? I don't even remember their names. Fuck those guys. Horrible. I'd go in there. And this is fucked up. I would go in there for rehab. Zachary would be like, I'm going to go shoot some hoops with you. These motherfuckers would just ignore me on the day that I'm here. I'm fucking paying for it. They would just ignore me. They'd be like, hey, go off with the intern. We're going to go talk to Zachary. And Zachary be like shooting hoops, and they're like making sure they're like rubbing him down. It was Joe. That was the guy's name, Joe. He'd be like rubbing Zachary. He's like, they're all baseball guys. So they're all like, oh, yeah, fucking baseball guy up in here. And I'm like, yo, Joe, how about you fucking rub my shoulder? I had a 99% tear. 99% of my labrum was torn. I had 1%. Like Lemo said, he was like, if I wanted to throw something with my left hand, he was like, there's a good chance that your shoulder will just come out with the throw. It doesn't matter at what time of your life. He's like, don't ever throw things with your left hand.
So you can never throw anything with your
No,
left
that's
hand?
why yesterday I was just joking around with the ball a little bit, just like tossing it a little bit.
You
It feels
should work
fine.
it a little bit.
But I need to get someone to I need to help rehabbing because I still feel like my shoulder is
You gotta
higher.
hang from the pull-up
I do. I hang and I stretch, but the problem is I'm like it's like the mobility. I don't know. Like when I was doing it, there'd be times that are like you're like twisting your body and you're like working this like little bit of mobility that in return like lowers your shoulder and like does all these things. Like I'm not a fucking rehab person. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just like doing strength training and like strengthening it strong. But my mobility is like where I'm losing it. And I'm like, I'm trying to be more mobile, but I'm like, fuck these guys. Because they literally like drove me out where I didn't want to go anymore. Like I had like 8 weeks left. They only gave me like, because my insurance only had 8 left. So I had like 8 left, and these guys like just stopped. They're like, "Oh no, you're good, buddy. They're like, you're good." I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean I'm good?" Zachary was 6 months ahead of me, and he just stopped. And I'm like, "Well, I'm just stopping with him now." It was absurd. So fuck those guys at 03 and Celine, because they're pieces of shit.
Yeah, they figure you hockey guys, you can hack it.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, that's what it was. They were just like, oh yeah, you're good, dude. He's like, you're good. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah, I shouldn't have told him I was done playing hockey because I think that's what got him. I was kind of like, yeah, I think I'm done. So they were kind of like, ah, whatever. They didn't really give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna work on grandma, and it's just like, bro, go fuck yourself. Have you seen the Mike Tyson Jake Paul stuff at all?
I have.
What are your thoughts on the Mike Tyson Jake Paul? Because obviously you grew up with Mike Tyson.
I think Mike can still hurt you bad.
You think so?
I think he can still pack a punch.
I think so, too.
I agree. I think that Mike can pack a punch, but here's where I lose it, is he's 60 years old at this point, and yes, the power's the last thing to go, but the stamina is the first thing to go.
Yeah.
And
That's
when
true.
you go
He's going to have to get at him early.
And, like, I don't know if you saw, like, there's some videos circulating about Mike Tyson. Those are, like, old videos. Those are not, like, new video. Like, they knew this was going to happen, so he's been kind of, like, going after it a little bit. I'm worried. I think that, one, the fight is a joke. There's no judges. There's like 8 rounds. It's all for publicity. And
I think so.
There was people talking about how there's probably a clause in there that like Mike Tyson can't get knocked out.
No, that's the only way someone can win is if someone gets knocked out. Like it's a tie no matter what. It's a tie. There's no judges. The only way someone can lose is if they get knocked out, which makes me think, because truthfully, like if this was a real boxing match, they were going to go 12 rounds, 2 minutes. They added the right gloves. Jake Paul would win. Because Jake Paul would play it smart. He's not gonna go in there and sit with Mike and try to swing off on Mike.
Yeah.
He's gonna be touching him and backing up. And over 12 rounds, Mike's gonna get tired and he would lose.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying he's gonna knock him out, but over time, a boxing game it's a chess match.
He's going to have to go hard early. And
it's
first couple rounds, or it's going to be a trouble for him.
Listen, Mike does his little.
He's got to go get him.
And then just fucking hits him. I mean, hey, if Jake eats a couple punches, people are gonna be like, all right, this guy can eat a punch. But
I still respect Jake for doing the fight. Mike Tyson is a guy that it's just like
I respect
you don't
want
to fuck with.
You look at his record, like Jake has fought some very tough people. Like when you look at the back in time, you're gonna be like, holy fuck, he fought all these people. But it's like all these people at the end of their reign. And I'm a Jake Paul. I like Jake Paul. I think he's great for the sport. But I don't know. I was curious on your take because I'm like, I wonder what like the old heads are thinking compared to like new people. Because I've had some random people that don't even know boxing, don't even like boxing, like girls that are like, oh my God, that's going to be such a cool fight. And I'm like, maybe. I don't know.
Well,
it's going to
to the average people.
Once Mike quit boxing kind of just.
But Jake Paul's kind of the one bringing it back.
Well, I think that's why Mike Tyson wanted to do this, because Mike Tyson was saying that Jake Paul has brought like life back to boxing in a way, and I mean that's just obviously like his following on YouTube.
The only person that even cared, like no one cares about boxing. Like when I think about boxing matches, my whole life, the only ones that I ever watched, Floyd versus Conor, Floyd versus Pacquiao, and then it was like Canelo, maybe Floyd versus Canelo, and then it was like Jake Paul fights. Those are the only boxing matches I really will like watch. I'll watch a Canelo fight maybe, but like or some highlights, but I'll never watch anything like that. Dad, you have 4 sons. Could you rank your children?
I'm not Dion. I don't rank my kids.
Well,
I don't rank my
we figured you were
kids.
going to say that. So Zach and I, we made our own rankings. We think that you would rank your kids at. So
Do you have them written down?
No,
or
no,
do
I
you
know,
want me to say
I know
'em?
them. I know them off the top of my head. We have.
Do you want to say them, or do you want
No,
me
you
to
can say. You can say.
I got them. So number one's Derek.
Yeah, we have Derek at one.
But
one,
see,
one.
but this is where it's hard because I think me and you were like the 2A, 2B.
No, it's fine. No, but I think you can still
depends
do
on
it.
the day.
But it doesn't matter. And then we think Tyler's at the end.
Yeah, Tyler's
but
last.
Tyler's just a sweetheart, so he's allowed to take that role.
I don't. I don't have favorites.
You
I-
got
I,
it.
don't have
Everybody has a
favorites.
favorite.
Everybody has a favorite.
Because,
I,
like,
I think at times you have a favorite here and there.
of
but,
course,
you know, it's,
it definitely fluctuates.
you know,
It's fluid.
it
It's definitely
fluctuates a
fluid.
little
But that's
bit,
why,
you
like
know?
Dion, he has the ranking system to make you try to get up. You know, if there's no system, then it's like, you know, this is a communist country. Anybody can get anything. You know, there's got to be rankings. There's got to be levels.
Well, that's you guys hit the big time and get that place in Miami. You're gonna work your way up
That's
to
what
the
it
top.
is.
you
It's
know?
what
Exactly.
what can we
What can we
offer?
bring?
What can we bring to the table? That's everything in life. What can you bring
We're
to the
trying to
table?
catch up.
Yeah, you guys are getting there.
Dad, were you excited that Michigan won the national championship?
Yeah, I was. I wanted to change from the SEC. I mean, I've been a Michigan fan all growing up my whole life.
It's
So
honest-
I mean,
it's honestly
it
a
was
perfect. It was
perfect. Nice to see. It's nice to see a kid like J.J. McCarthy, a really good kid that's not in it for the money and the NIL to be able to win and a real close.
I think this
team.
is a great jump off point now because this is wild, and it was before you had any kids or met Mom. Talk about, or maybe you did meet Mom. Talk about what you used to do as a Michigan fan, because didn't you travel to like all the games? You went to every game.
Yeah, we had a group of us that went to the away, went to all the home games and then the away games. Went in the motorhome with our shout out to JJ, a dad of my friend Jeff, that took us in the motorhome and took us a bunch of. We had our older group and then a bunch of younger groups. So
What's the
we had
younger
about.
group? How old are you guys?
We were like in our early 20s, and they were in the 50s. So
Right.
we'd have 4 guys in his 50s and 4 guys in the 20s,
Good
and
little combo.
had the kegger in the motorhome,
Oh,
and
I
off
bet.
we went. And we went to.
I bet that keg was
stick
gone
handling.
before you got there.
Oh, we
Stick handling in the motorhome.
we had the little barrels, and we'd take 3 of them with us.
Oh yeah, they're just stick handling the motorhome. Just
But no, there was no drink until you got there. But once you got, but once you put the kegger out, you draw a crowd. So
yeah.
we'd be on the road, and you'd have 100,
yeah.
100
Everybody-
Notre Dame fans in there partying with
Everybody
you.
wants the free beer.
So,
we got a helicopter.
here come the
going over.
helicopters.
I think it was going fast.
A little delay in the show there. We're
So-
outside of Myrtle Beach.
So how many years did you do the traveling? Every home game, every away game.
Well, we didn't do every away game. I would go to 2, 3 a year. They would go to most of them, but
Yeah.
I with work and all that, I'd go to a couple every year. So by the end of it, we had made it to everywhere, but Maryland and Rutgers and Nebraska weren't in the conference
Yeah.
yet. So we did make it to those, but all the other Big Ten schools I went
We'll
to,
probably get to those now.
and we could.
With Derek at Indiana, we'll probably get to those
Absolutely.
now.
It's honestly perfect that Michigan won a national title, and then our brother got the head strength coaching job at Indiana, because now it's like your fandom. You kind of got the peak of your fandom. Now it's like we can go to the rebuild.
Yeah,
it's kind of
definitely
like
the
a
rebuild.
good.
Now
it's
we're
kinda
all
like a good.
Go Hoosiers.
Yeah, go Hoosiers. Go Hoosiers out here.
we're
Buy stock
Indiana
in
now.
Hoosiers.
But with all the traveling, what was your favorite location? And I think I know this, but what was your favorite place you went?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
knew it.
Madtown
Wisconsin.
is
I knew
it's
it.
cool, really cool place.
Yeah, Madison's
Yeah.
a great spot. They like to party.
Yeah, they do.
Madison was the spot.
Indiana though is a low key. It's old, but it's a low key. Like that's a spot. Like when you think of like a lot of people from the Midwest, they all are like, I applied to Indiana.
It's a super smart
It's almost
school.
like a Michigan-esque. I mean, a lot of the Big
Absolutely.
Ten. I'll say this: the Big Ten does a really good job. That like all the schools are very similar in stature. Like they all kind of fit that build. Now that it's kind of be the Wild Wild West a little bit with the Big Ten, who knows how that changes? But like as me growing up, all those schools were like nice schools. Even like Iowa, you go to like Iowa's campus. That's a nice ass campus.
It's very nice.
So
yeah.
I mean, I also like the idea of having UCLA, USC. What's it, Oregon too, or is it Washington?
Oregon and
Washington.
Washington.
And
Oregon
those are
and
good
Washington.
for the brand.
Those are dope.
Those are good for the brand.
Dope schools.
That's great for the brand, honestly. That's great.
No,
for the
I mean it's great.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean
great
it's
for the brand. Like it
a
sucks.
whole
if
new
you're-
world.
Yeah, for football world, it's good for the brand. If you fucking play like basketball or you're a swimmer, that probably or not basketball, baseball or a swimmer. That probably sucks.
I think
but-
that'll change, though. I don't think that's going to last with like baseball and these conferences. I just don't think they can afford it. So
Everything's gonna change. Everything's changing.
that's all going to matter. But Dad, what was porn like back in like the 70s?
Porn?
Yeah, porn.
It's probably crazy, eh?
Because you didn't have the internet, so it was like the monthly subscriptions, or
I don't have a lot of experience with it,
Oh,
actually.
guys, come on.
Was it- do you
no,
think-
I was.
Do you think it's easier to have multiple girlfriends now or back in the day?
Oh, I would say back in the day for sure,
sure.
with all
No
the
internet.
phones and the
They
cameras
can't
and
connect. They can't connect.
But
Oh,
it's
no,
hard though
yeah.
because you only knew people like in your surrounding now.
yeah, but you got to think about it. Every city you are, bro, you're like no one can even look you up. No one can even like know who you are. Like you
Yellow
could have
pages.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
what are they
whatever
gonna
it
do?
was.
you
Yellow
had to be a
page
lot.
you?
You had to be a lot more social then. Now people, they stick to home and they
sure.
do their social sitting in their living room.
Imagine if
you had to
were
get
in
out
New
and
York.
meet people.
Like you go into New York, right? You could go to a bar every fucking day and find someone new. You could have 8 wives back home. It don't even matter. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, be like, oh yeah, I live up in the Upper East Side. Okay, yeah, all right. Well, what the fuck does that mean? You could be living in Jersey. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. To me, I just thought it was funny. I was like, man. You hear about these guys now. It's like everyone's like balancing girlfriends and wives, and I'm like, dude, that's insane because it's like it's a lot of work.
I mean, you can have a lot of girlfriends in New York.
But I'm saying, but you still have to talk to them and text them and like call them. Like back in the day, it was like we don't got all this shit. It's like I'll call you in a couple fucking weeks, honey. And it's just like that's what it was.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't like you have to like now. It's like you don't text a girl for fucking a day. They're like, what the fuck? It's like you're getting on them. So it's just a different world.
That's super fair. Dad, how did you meet Mom?
This was back when the Detroit Pistons in their heyday in the 88 and 89
When they weren't winning 4 games.
when they were winning championships. I was out at Frazier's Pub in Ann Arbor, the legendary sports bar in Ann Arbor, and the Pistons had just won their second championship, and we decided we were going to stop into a spot called Bombay Bicycle Club after, and I had just ran into her there, and we started talking, and rest is kind of history from there.
Interesting. You think she liked you right away?
Well, she came up to me, so
Oh.
and she thought I was somebody else. So I don't know if that was real or not.
She thought she was meeting someone else.
Yeah. She said, "Are you so and so?" And I said, "You can call me. You can call me whatever you want."
Spin zone.
You
So,
gotta be able to spin it.
I was, we were in celebrating, and that kind of,
And then
fell in my lap.
what year was that? When was that?
That was 1989.
1989. So how did you stay in touch then?
She wouldn't give me her number, but she did give me her last name, and that was back when you had a phone book in Yellow Page, or the phone book. So I looked up her name. The first number I got was disconnected, so I got she totally,
Damn.
just
On to the next
what is it?
one. On to the next
Ghosted?
one.
Is that what they call you?
Ghosted.
Ghosted me. But then I called information, which you could call information, and they gave me an updated number, and I got a hold of her and asked her out.
Wow. Hey, you got to work for it a little bit. Hey, how many dudes today would work for it like that? I don't know.
But you can't even get people's numbers like that.
No,
I don't think.
Fuck no, you could not. Like I don't know. I feel like it's harder to find someone's number like that nowadays. Like if you Google
it
someone,
would be tough.
It's a lot harder. I mean, even like a name, like you could. I mean, I guess now you could type it into every social site possible, and you could try to find them. But,
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have worked that hard normally, but she was a keeper. I could tell from the get go.
I mean, you guys worked pretty fast. You met her in '89, and Tyler was born in '91. So
Yeah.
It was a quick
I mean,
work.
Well, we
It
were
was a
both
quick
30, so it
quick
was
work.
like
You guys
it was
got
about
married after
time.
what, like 10 months or something like that?
Yeah, it was about 10
Yeah,
months
that's what I
because
thought.
we pretty much after the first date, we pretty much just were
Where was
steady.
Where was the
going
first
out.
date?
First date. Wow, that's a good question. I'm trying to think. I think we just went and got a bite to eat. It was nothing really.
You remember what you ate?
No, I don't.
I couldn't remember either.
I do remember. I don't really remember. It was probably just go out for a burger and casual and see what happened because we really did. We didn't know each other. So
And that was in Ann Arbor?
that was
Again?
in Ann Arbor.
Nice.
Yeah, she was living in Ann Arbor and working.
She was teaching like Pilates or ballet or something.
Well, no, she worked at a health club just part time, but she worked for a Irwin Magnetics that company was around for a while and went away, and then she started working for U of M basically for the rest of her
Since
career.
then.
Yeah,
Wow.
still there.
Still there, yeah. About to retire here soon.
Yeah. Wow.
Another.
She's transitioned to a couple companies, I think, within that. Hasn't
Yeah,
she?
well,
Don't
it
care.
started out. It was before U of M. It was Medcare, which was just a subsidiary of.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it was all U of M. It was all under the hospital umbrella.
Yeah, I remember MCare. I remember when everyone got laid off, and I walked into Mom's office, and she was like the only one left.
Yeah,
We were just like running around, like, "Oh, it's fucking sick."
I
Everyone
remember
lost their
going
job.
yeah.
I remember going into that place with all the cubicles.
yeah.
That shit was fun.
But
Appreciate you.
no politics.
No,
politics.
we don't really talk politics. We'll probably get fired at our job if we did. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would love to talk politics. You know, just, maybe that's what,
I was going to talk about the crooked DA in New York.
I mean, we could talk about that if you got some
DA
insider
the
information.
DA is crooked. I mean, obviously, and they wouldn't even let the governor into the police officer who died's funeral. So it's like, that just says everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If a governor wanted to go to someone who died, who lived in their state, 99% of the time they'd be like, "Yes, come in. This is a great honor."
Absolutely.
No, this guy was like, "No, fuck this lady." Which, in respect, it's like, at some point you got to care about the people that live in your fucking state, that have been in your state, and that have, paid money to live in your state for a long fucking time. You should care about those people more than someone who just got dropped in today and was like, "Oh," but they lived in a bad
Absolutely.
spot. I'm sorry that you were from El Salvador. I'm really sorry about that, but
Yeah.
now I don't have to pay for it. I just shouldn't have to pay for your life. Like, why how does that make sense? So,
Yeah.
Whatever.
We struggle helping our own for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather help, we should help our neighbor before we help El Salvador. What the fuck are we doing? People don't,
Yeah.
that's what's wrong with America today. Back in the day, you used to care about your neighbor. Like, I remember our first neighbor that we used to live by, we used to be friends with them, and now it's like every neighbor after that, we just didn't even know their names. And you think about it, it's like people don't even know their fucking neighbors nowadays.
Yeah.
But they're so concerned. The person who doesn't care about their neighbor next to them is so concerned. They're like, but they don't have anywhere to go. Like, where are they going to go? They're like, look where they live. It's like, yeah, no shit. But how about a leader from El Salvador fucking make something happen? Why do we have to do it? Why does the New York governor have to try to make fucking friends?
Well, our second neighbor after our first one was running a drug house, so maybe that's why we didn't know them as well.
yeah,
for sure, but
Kind of want to keep you guys away from them.
listen, it's the whole paintbrush of just not just us, but the whole world. Like, you go into New York, how many neighbors do we know?
No.
None.
New York doesn't like New York.
None.
Actually, the reason why I like New York, it's very much like mind your own business. I kind of like it. It's everybody's
great.
head down. Like,
Great. It's great.
no one's trying to be a superhero because superheroes die. So,
Yeah. Listen,
in Gotham City.
Well, I would hope if you see one of those guys that are walking down the street and punching women in the face,
That would be
you would
different. That's
intervene at
different.
that
That's
point.
completely
I already
different.
told everyone. I said, because there was a girl.
They
who was
need
with
an
a
ass
group of
whooping.
people
That's
who was with
completely
a group of people, and this guy punched her. There's a bunch of dudes with her that worked with her. Didn't do anything. She made a TikTok about this, and I just thought to myself, if I see a dude punch a girl with no context, I'm sneaking up behind him and suck bombing him,
Yeah,
and he's
for-
slept. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's John Jones. If I hit you in the back of the head from behind,
Yeah.
you are getting slept.
Absolutely.
Like, and if I see a random dude on the street who does that to a girl or anybody, if I see him just punch some random person, they're like, "What the fuck?" and I'm behind him, I'm cocking one.
I mean, you're not even going to get
I'm
arrested
cocking
in
one.
New York.
I'm going
so.
Zachary, go landscape point 5 real quick. Bop. And I'm fucking, that's what we're doing.
I mean, you're not even going to get arrested in New York.
No,
So.
you shouldn't. Listen, I'm all for an eye for an eye. You punch someone, you should get punched in the fucking mouth back.
It's fair.
You kill someone, see you later.
Yeah.
It's just how it should be. And not always does that work. It's obviously a broad stroke, but man, it'll surely keep people in line if that was the case. In New York, they're like, you punch someone, they're like, "Oh, you're out. We arrested you, but now you're out later today."
has to be consequences.
There's got to be
For sure.
consequences.
Well, that's a very
your
positive
actions.
note to, I think, end the conversation,
Yeah.
Joshua. I think
Yeah.
that's
And happy 100th pod.
and happy 100th pod.
Hopefully to 1,000 more.
Yeah, Pops, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All the love and support you give us and everything you've done for us growing up.
Yeah.
We appreciate it, and that's why we really wanted to have you on the 100th podcast. So
Yeah.
love you and appreciate you.
Congratulations, guys. You guys love you both to death, and really look forward to seeing where this thing goes.
Let's go.
And
Let's do it.
I know you both be successful because you always have been.
We're
So
going to take it to the moon.
Dope. To the moon. Let's go.
hey,
Perfect.
I'm with you.
Awesome.
I gotta fight for my bros, I gotta stack up this gold. I tell you I'm on the road. About to get all this dough. Me and no fuck niggas know. I swear to God we the ghosts. This ain't the story they told. Man, if you know, then you know. I never had to tell my dogs that we on road for greatness. They pay